How long is it going to take you to increase your SAT score or get the dream score that you really want? We get messages like this all the time. I'm at this score, I want to get to this point. Do you think I can do it in 2 months, 1 month, 5 days, whatever it is? The truth is, this really depends from student to student. However, I like to break down the SAT prep process and increasing your score, all of that, into 3 simple steps. The process is simple, but the work that needs to be done is not necessarily easy. So the first step is really understanding the core concepts tested on the exam. The SAT is going to test you on a variety of topics. So you need to relearn a lot of the core concepts that you've been learning for the past 10 years. Everything from basic grammar rules to algebra, geometry, statistics, to finding the main idea. It's a very holistic test, so it tests you on everything that you've basically learned so far. The second step is kind of speaking the language of the SAT. The SAT is nothing like any school exam that you've taken. I like to say it's literally like its own language. So you need to speak the language of the SAT. This is where practice comes in, or something I like to call pattern recognition. The SAT is a very repetitive test, and there are so many common patterns from test to test. For the most part, you can assume exactly what type of questions are going to be tested on test day, and exactly what wrong answer choices are going to look like, what correct answer choices are going to look like, and also exactly how they phrase questions. So once you learn the core concepts, which is what I like to call the how, right? How to do the math, how to fix sentences, how to find the main idea, etc. Now you need to learn to identify what to do. The hardest part about the SAT is not the how. It's actually finding out what to do. What do I mean by this? Well, most students struggle with the SAT because they don't know what to do when they come across questions, right? Once they learn how to do everything, they should be able to get a top SAT score. But the truth is, they don't know what to do when they come across problems because the SAT is nothing like tests that you've been given in school. The way they ask questions is a little bit weird. And until you speak the language of the SAT, you're not gonna understand what to do. If you don't understand what to do when you come across a question, then you're not gonna be able to actually implement how to do it. The SAT is a very indirect test. They can't just directly ask you for something, or else it would be way too easy and everyone would get a pretty good score on it. So to make it more complex, they ask questions in weird ways. They try to trick students. However, if you can speak the language of the SAT, then you won't be tricked and you will understand exactly what they're doing. So how do you speak the language of the SAT? How are you able to recognize these common patterns? The bad news is the only way you're gonna really be able to develop pattern recognition is through practice. I made a video here about exactly how you can practice for the SAT to optimize your score. There's 2 different types of practice that you can complete, so make sure you go check out that video once you're done with this one. Now the third step is just understanding the different test-taking strategies. Now that you know how to do everything tested on the SAT, you understand the common patterns and you can identify what to do when you come across questions. Everything comes together now with strategies. What are you gonna do when you go to sit down on the test? Are you gonna start at certain questions? Are you gonna skip certain questions, etc.? I like to think of strategies like a game plan. Every game plan is going to be different for every single person who takes the SAT. Some students like certain strategies while others don't. The most important part is practicing those strategies before you sit down on test day. So the overall question was, how long is it gonna take me to increase my SAT score? That depends on how fast you want to move through all of these steps. This is also a very general video. For someone who already knows how to do everything on the SAT, but they just can't understand what to do, and they just need more practice, then they may only need maybe 3 to 4 weeks to increase their score, maybe a week. It really depends student to student, but the general process is the same. The question is, what are you gonna optimize for? If you're just starting your prep journey or your score is below a 1200, I would say really optimize to learn the core concepts tested on the SAT, meaning how to actually do the math, how to fix sentences, the basic grammar rules, how to find the main idea, how to read actively. If you feel like you already know the general how, now it's just about really understanding what to do when you come across problems and the general strategies that you need to earn that top SAT score.